There's an old crumbling asylum that stands just on the edge of town. Most people avoid it, but not me. I've heard the stories, like everyone else. The whispers about the kids who were abandoned there. The strange happenings that no one can explain. But today, I'm going to tell you the story of one orphan boy, a name long forgotten by history, but whose presence still lingers in the darkest corners of that place. His name was Thomas, and he was just 8 years old when they sent him to the asylum. The first time he saw the building, it was towering, monstrous, its windows like hollow eyes staring down at him. His tiny hand gripped the cold iron of the gate as it creaked open, welcoming him into a world that felt wrong. Inside, the air smelled of mildew, old dust, and something else, something metallic. No one ever told him what happened to the other kids, those who'd come before him. But Thomas could hear their voices sometimes, late at night, faint whispers carried by the wind. "Help us. Get out." At first he thought it was his imagination. Kids do that, don't they? Talk to shadows. But then it started happening more often. Late at night, when the rest of the children were locked in their rooms, Thomas could hear footsteps, soft, dragging across the cold stone floors of the hallway. Sometimes the flicker of dim lights would illuminate a figure standing just at the edge of his door. No one would ever answer when he called for help. In the beginning, he'd tried to ignore it. He thought if he just kept his eyes shut tight enough, the ghosts of the past wouldn't find him. But the asylum, it seemed, had other plans. One night everything changed. It was past midnight and Thomas was in his bed, shivering. The usual noises had faded into an unsettling silence. Then from the depths of the hallway a sound cut through the stillness, a slow dragging, like something heavy being pulled across the floor. Thomas's heart raced, his breath coming in short, terrified gasps. He wanted to scream, to run, but his feet were frozen to the floor. He knew something was coming for him. The door creaked open, but no one was there, just darkness. Pure, suffocating darkness. But from the corner of the room something moved. It was only a shadow, barely visible, but it was there, shifting, stretching, and then the whispering began again. This time, it wasn't from the hallway, it was from inside the room, just beside his bed. Thomas! He wanted to run. He wanted to get out of there, but he couldn't. His body wouldn't obey. The shadow seemed to grow larger, pressing closer. Then a face appeared, distorted, hollow eyes staring down at him. The last thing Thomas remembered was a hand, cold, impossibly cold, reaching toward him. No one found Thomas, not for a long time. The staff assumed he had escaped, vanished into the night like some others had before him. But the asylum never forgot. Years later, when the building was finally shut down, they found something that no one had ever expected. In the basement, behind a hidden door, was a small room, covered in strange faded drawings. Scrawled across the walls were the names of all the children who had ever been abandoned there. And one more name, Thomas. It wasn't just a name, it was something else, something darker, a plea. Help us, help him! And to this day the asylum stands, abandoned but never empty. The whispers haven't stopped. Sometimes on stormy nights you can still hear them, a child's voice, soft and desperate, calling out for someone, anyone, to set him free. So if you ever find yourself near that forsaken building, if you hear the soft shuffle of footsteps behind you, remember Thomas, and remember, some ghosts are too lost to ever leave.